And we're back with an all-new episode of Keep It. I am Louis Fertel, and we are still stuck in Alan Cummings' mansion. I think we have 35 more weeks until we figure out who is or isn't a traitor. And by the way, do we even want to get rid of the traitors? I want someone to just sit down and figure out the strategy of this show, but we're going to get into that today. We have somebody who is just amazing at podcasting. I'm thrilled you're here. It's Brandon Kyle Goodman, who is also a VO artist extraordinaire. Love hearing you on Big Mouth, etc. Yeah.
Tell me more things. Tell me more things you like.
What a fabulous performer, etc. Are you a Traitors super fan or fan at all?
I am. Since season 1, I was obsessed with it, and now I'm really excited to see where it's gone. I always say that I love two parts about it. It's the game, but also the fact that you're watching people come to either redeem, resurrect, elevate, or establish their careers. And I think Phaedra Parks really set us up with that.
That's a masterclass.
Yes.
Phaedra came, because I'm not a Housewives person.
Okay.
But I am like a Big Brother person. I am just reality shows where people are vindictive to each other and want to win.
Absolutely.
That's what I want.
Which is Housewives.
Yes, but that's the thing. It's like Housewives is that, and you realize those people speak this language even better than Survivor contestants a lot of the time.
I mean, that's why we loved Phaedra so much, because she was able to really actually play the game better than the gamers.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it's all about talking. It's how do you talk? How do you position yourself? How do you present yourself? It's everything.
And marketing a personality too. Like,
yes.
I feel like Survivor people, it's all about trickery and like one-on-one deceit, whereas the Housewives people save half of their game for facing us, you know?
It's about the confessional. I mean, quite honestly, if I'm honest, I really could do away with the missions on Traitors. I'm there for the round tables, and I'm there for like them buzzing around the kitchen and also obsessing over salmon. They love that salmon.
Yeah, right.
Every morning they're like, where's the salmon?
I do have to say, though, a breakfast spread does speak to me. Like, that would keep me satisfied in the house.
Yes, absolutely.
We're now headlong into the season. And if you haven't seen the episodes yet, maybe fast forward through this. But honestly, again, what is wrong with you if you're not watching this up to the minute?
Come on, absolutely.
We finally got rid of Michael Rappaport. What is our postmortem on him? Are you traumatized? This is somebody who would just speak and speak and speak, often screaming.
Always screaming.
And eventually it was screaming only at Colton Underwood. Now, I've wanted to do that, but not like this.
Not like this. Listen, I think that Michael is an interesting character. I think he actually is very entertaining, and he was a great villain of the season. It was his time to go, because it was starting to get uncomfortable, I think, for the audience and for the people in the castle. You're like, I don't like how uncomfortable everybody is, so he needs to go. But if it wasn't for his personality, he was actually quite smart. Like, he's the one who called out that it's one of the hunks, right? And it is Rob as a traitor. He's the one that I feel like was kind of picking up on who the traitors were, but he just didn't say it in the right. Also, some of the things he said, if a housewife said it, it might have actually came off funnier and better. I think he's supposed to be on Housewives.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, also, it's just like he didn't know when to stop.
Yes.
Like, he never got to the end of like his statement we all quote. Like on a Housewife, like a Housewives, they know how to keep it clippy, like copy.
Period. Yes.
You know?
Yes. He wants to keep going. But he's like, if I can compare him, there's an Angie K on Salt Lake City. And when she starts to see red, she don't stop. She keeps going. She keeps going. And Michael is very much that. But it feels much more abrasive on Michael. Like I say, I like my straight white men, quiet and in therapy. You know,
of course, yes.
He's not any of those things. He needs to do that now.
No, I also feel like he really is an actor where he's kind of searching for. He just needs to be given lines.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Where he kept like restating himself like 30 different times.
Commiserating.
And it's like, and you also don't know what that means. Oh my God, to be called out by one of the traitors on Grammar.
To be called out by the Love is Blind traitor.
Dog walked by a Love Island cast member.
Dragged by your scalp, love, by your edges. I will say, speaking of actor, my introduction to Michael Rappaport was Boston Public, which was one of my favorites. Him, Shy McBride, Loretta Devine, Shannon Leal, like that was one of my favorite shows. And I loved him on that, but I don't know what he does. What does he do now?
No, I think he's sort of adjacent to the Housewives universe somehow.
Yes. I mean, iconic Kenya and versus Michael on the Watch What Happens Live.
Right.
That was an iconic moment. But I'm like, what is your job? Is he like a sports commentator? Like, do we know what he does?
No, yeah, right. Does Jiffy Lube? I have no idea. I have no guess.
I have no idea. But I think he came here to redeem his career or resurrect it, is what I'm saying. But he was also a little too into the game.
Yeah, yes. No. But I mean, like, now we need like a good actor without that personality to come in and do the same thing.
Yes,
because it's just entirely uncomfortable. And also, the other cast members really had no choice. Like, they couldn't get anything done at the round table because of him. He was like a hired chaos agent to make sure the game didn't move any direction.
Absolutely. Even at the end, you saw that Alan Cummings seemed very exhausted by the end of that round table.
Yes.
He was like, time is over. And you're like, okay, cool. You've pissed off the host. I think you got to go, love.
What did you make of Michael's a play on Colton Underwood, where he basically said, "Oh, you've kept a secret for 29 years, therefore you're the least trustworthy person here." Honestly, a little funny.
Honestly, okay, that's what I'm saying. If it came from a housewife, a good read, and it wasn't a confessional, a good read. But in this situation, it felt so cringe. But I'll say this: Michael's from New York, I'm from New York, and I do know that sometimes shit talking just goes a little too far. But like, I don't want to excuse it, take accountability for it, but it's like it felt like just some good street shit talking,
like riffing.
Yeah. And like Colton could have came back with the jab. Not that that was his responsibility, but I think if it were another New Yorker, you would just come back with the jab. Or if it was a housewife, y'all would just be jabbing each other back and forth. But it was the wrong time. Didn't read the room. What I did learn from that, which I didn't consciously recognize, is that entire table is gay.
Yeah.
Or gay icons.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, baby, this is the wrong room to do this in.
And he is the least gayest person imaginable.
The least gayest person at all.
You're right. I'd never even thought about it. You're right. There is a lot of queerness
There's a lot
going
of queerness
on
that table. When they went around saying it, I was like, oh, yeah, you're gay. You make your money from gays. You're gay. Like, it's just, he really fucked up.
Yeah. Also, speaking of queer icons, I just want Kristen Kish to be right one time. Oh my God. Lovely woman.
She's
great
so
host
lovely.
of Top Chef.
Yes.
Never been wronger.
Her and Tara won't say nothing. Tara don't know what's going on.
And by the way, that surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
Tara Lipinski seems very shrewd and funny on the spot.
Yeah.
And then this season, she's just like hanging in the background, being like, no idea what's going on.
She has no idea. Can I tell you my Tara Lipinski Johnny Weir story?
Please.
I was on their show, Wedding Cake Whatever. My husband and I had to compete.
I'm going to believe this exists. Okay.
It is. They hosted a show on, I think, TLC or something, where bakers competed to make wedding cakes.
Oh, okay.
So my husband and I were on that show, and that's how I met Johnny Weir and Tara Lipinski. We chose a cake. I hated the cake they chose. It was all produced. It was like, I wanted this cake, but they needed that person to get eliminated. It was wild, but they were the loveliest.
Wait, does that mean at your wedding you had a cake you didn't want?
No, we didn't have to. We didn't come home with us.
Are you saying television is fake?
Television is fake, love. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you. It's all fake. It's all produced.
I have to say, Johnny Weir made me laugh twice less this past episode. When he walks up the stairs and he turns to the night statuary and he goes, "Good night." I was like, what are you, like a British character actor? Who's doing this?
I think he's so funny on the show, and I want more screen time for him and Tara, and I want them to come back together a little bit.
Yeah. I also maybe think people should be able to play as a duo.
Ooh, that's a new pitch.
Because I just...
Would that work?
Because the both of them are like, they're solo entity. I want them just like, they're like Statler and Waldorf on the Muppets. You can't have one without the other.
Yes.
Imagine just Statler. Oh my God, that's so sad.
So sad.
You'd be like, his husband died.
You need them together. You need them together. Also, I love I think is it Tara's interstitial where Johnny's a framed photo?
Yes.
One of them has the little framed photo, which I think is so cute.
Yes. No. It's nice to, I mean, like they are like the preeminent fag and hag we have.
Yes, absolutely.
Now that I think about it. Put that in the caption on the episode. Something that is really bothering me though is the way people are turning on like a character like Ron Funches just because so he got one of his accusations wrong. Okay, I understand that is like lightly suspicious, but that wouldn't necessarily make me think somebody is a traitor. Let's say, what does a traitor actually do? It's three people who are just talking with each other and deciding who to eliminate. They're not going to go out on a limb in the round table and pick somebody and get all the attention on them and then look like an asshole when they eliminate the wrong person.
Agreed.
So the idea that people aren't sitting around and immediately thinking it's got to be one of the quieter people in this room or people who are steering the conversation or whatever. It's not going to be people who are imagine Ron Funches as a traitor. You think he's telling his two other conspirators, I'm going to wildly go after somebody and be wrong and then risk it all. So I can be eliminated in the second week. It's just nobody's doing the 3D chess to realize he's probably not a traitor, even though I'm a little bit mad at him. Finally, though, Colton Underwood is on to Lisa Rinna. And I have to say the logic was the best I've heard this season.
Absolutely, because she is overacting, and I've been saying that every time she walks into the breakfast, I'm like, it's a little too much. And this is what a lot of them do. They use their profession as a reason to say, Eric was like, I'm a musician. Lisa's like, I'm an actress, and they use their professions to kind of validate their position. And it's like, don't do that because you're actually gonna screw yourself. What I do want to say about Ron, though, I think Ron actually highlights a bias on the show. The show actually does. I think is a study in playground politics because Colton's been wrong, but he's still able to rally the troops. Ron has been wrong, and I think it's because Ron is not a straight, pretty, or not a tall, pretty white boy. You know what I'm saying? There's something about Ron just being genuinely a little nerdier, that they're not trusting him. And I also think that Ron is genuinely there to play the game, because everyone else is a gamer or they're a housewife, whereas Ron is a genuine comedian and an artist. So I actually think Ron's a little too sensitive to be on the show. I think he came in thinking, oh, we'll have a good time and I'll be on. But like they're all there playing reality show.
Yeah.
And Ron is an artist. And so I think it's
and he doesn't have natural allies in that way too.
Yes.
Like he's not on the same shows as any of these people.
Yeah.
And he also is, when confronted, miffed.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he comes back with like not retaliatory, he's not retaliatory, but he is like, there's some angst there that I think is rubbing people the wrong way, where it's like he is a smart comedian. He could be using his isolation to his advantage and endearing himself in a way, you know?
But I think he feels, like you said, isolated, but he feels on edge, because to be in a house with some housewives and some gamers 24/7, and they're always playing to the camera. And
No, totally. I'm sure it's like an inhuman feeling.
The psychological is just like, I couldn't even imagine. Candace eating it up.
Yes.
Candace loves that. Candace is there to...
I was initially feeling bad for Lisa that she was footing all the responsibility of having a personality this season, but Candace has been great.
Yes.
The casting of the Traitors is actually the best part of this season so far.
They're great traitors. And I think Candace, again, when I say redeem, resurrect, elevate, establish, Candace wants the Phaedra treatment. Candace left Potomac. She's back. And she even said in the first episode, it's called Traitors. I'm giving you main character energy. And she is delivered, which is why I think she's always talking. It may be a little too much, but, you know.
No, and again, it's like, people like this, I do usually feel like the faithfuls figure it out.
Yes.
Like they will settle on, oh, actually, 4 different times you steered us to the person we eliminated and you had no real reason for it.
Yes.
You know, so
she's playing it smart, staying with Ron, kicking out Ron. How'd you feel about the Tiffany of it all?
Tough. I mean, like, now that show is my people. Tiffany.
Yeah, okay.
Tiffany's from Big Brother.
See, I'm not a gamer. I don't watch any of those shows. So tell me.
Yes. Well, it's just, I really admire the diplomacy it takes to survive on that show. And like, it's so long lasting. I mean, you're in that house for months, like 90 days plus.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's not just alliance building, it's figuring out what to do with the hang time of nothing at all occurring.
Yeah.
So it's really maddening. It's
they
like
have no phones in there either?
No.
Whoa.
And again, I have nightmares about being in that house. I've literally had nightmares about I joined the Big Brother house and forgot to tell work. So it's like lodged in here.
I love that.
And then additionally, I have nightmares about not having access to Wikipedia.
I gotta know what's happening, love.
You know, like, oh my God, you know, who won that Teen Choice Award in 1999? I'll never know. I have to wait till I get out of the house. And Julie Chen Moonves will not tell you.
Waking up in the middle of your night, cold sweats. Ah!
Yeah, right. Oh, good. It was whatever. Gretchen Mall. I don't know who was around then. But it actually requires a lot to survive on that show.
Yeah.
And it's so much longer lasting than Survivor. But when people all agree on one person being a little bit suspicious on Traitors, they have no choice but to go for them because, again, there are no clues.
Yes.
So the only weapon you have in your arsenal is agreeing with people for no reason.
1,000%. Yeah.
You know, so once the tide was turning against her, I was like, how on earth can she survive?
She couldn't survive it. Also, when Eric said, I'm a musician and I listen to pitch, I mean, it was like you actually got the wrong black person because it was it was you know, you did hear her laugh and it was Candace.
Yeah.
you got the wrong
right.
girl. But you know, it was really tough, and I will say this, I think because they all turned on her and she was so vocal about needing the money, I think they should all cut her a check.
Sure.
I think they should all just write her a little check.
Just like a little Venmo.
Just a little Venmo.
Like 500 per.
Be like, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad, we got you out. Here's some money, you know?
But also horrible show to be on if you need the money because
Yes.
everybody is eliminated for no reason.
Well, isn't that
Stop
kind
pretending you can earn it.
1,000%. Isn't it? It kind of makes it like the Hunger Games to me. It's like you come on these shows because you really need money, and that's, I think, a poor reflection on us as a society.
No, I mean, like, truly go on Wheel of Fortune, where if you win one round, you at least get $2,000.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
God, we need to do better.
Okay, this episode, we have a lot going on.
I can't wait.
First of all, we're going to get into The Pit, which I don't even remember the last medical drama I watched very seriously. I did watch Grey's Anatomy, once upon a time,
yes.
And I watched ER before that, starring, of course, Noah Wyle. We'll talk about why this show is so addicting. I can't imagine turning on this show and not watching it till the most recent episode.
1,000. I'm
So,
with you.
you know what I mean?
I can't wait.
Elsewhere, we're going to talk about being liberated sexually in TV and film, a specialty of yours.
That's mine. Yes, I love to talk about that.
So we'll talk about like which titles speak most to us in terms of interesting depictions of good sex, of sexual exploration, etc. I will take us back to the 60s and 70s because I don't know where else to take us.
I can't wait. Okay.
That's just who I am.
That's going to be your expertise. Okay, great.
Yes, and our interview today is with the bone-chilling but excellent actor Bill Skarsgård of the Skarsgård clan. His dad, of course, Stellan Skarsgård, just won the Golden Globe for sentimental value, and we'll talk to him about his new movie Dead Man's Wire, directed by the fabulous Gus Van Sant. And then, how about we'll just hang out and have fun?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
I can't wait.
The Emmy and now Golden Globe winning drama The Pitt is back for another day in the ER. Last season was sort of a sleeper hit, but Brandon, when did you join the Pitt hive, if ever? Because I have to say, I'm getting pretty obsessed again.
3 days ago, love.
Oh, you did?
3 days ago, because I was coming here and I've wanted to watch it. I love a medical drama. I'm a Grey's Anatomy girly down. I haven't watched in the last couple seasons, but that has been a big show to me. And I wanted to watch The Pitt, but there's a lot of TV, and so I just hadn't gotten around to it. And so this weekend I was like, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna watch all 15 hours of season 1. And I did it. 8 o'clock my time. It was 8 o'clock their time. I felt very bonded, trauma bonded with them, if you will.
Yeah.
So I'm obsessed. Also, Pitt Hive, they need a better name for them, right? Is it Pitt
anything?
Hive? Pit Crew, the Pitties?
I need them not to pit out, but yeah.
Yes. Well, when did you join the Pitt Hive?
Well, no, I had heard there was that the Pitt was so good that you had to watch. It was like adolescence. Like I just watched it immediately.
Yes.
I'm very I read the critics. I like knowing what allegedly matters, and then I will go and either disagree with them or honestly usually agree with them.
Yes.
So I watched the Pitt in real time, when episode to episode as it aired before, and I just want to say it's a show I didn't know I needed, but my favorite thing about it, and I wish I'd come up with this myself, but I just saw an article over the weekend that brought up this term, competency porn. What you want to watch on this show is people who are not just good at their jobs, but like, I think the thrill of the Pitt is things like traumatic moments or messing up or failure are still wrapped into the day-to-day lives of these people, and they've incorporated it in a human way into the way they work. It's just part of their lives.
Yeah.
So not only are they good at their jobs, they're good at being bad at their jobs. And so I think that makes the world feel like a safer place.
Yeah.
When you're like, these adults do the hardest work on the planet, and yet they even know how to fail well.
Yes.
Yes.
The student teaching of it is a really beautiful element, because you can see the degree or the range of knowledge in the space, and also people becoming their best selves, and also understanding that even people who are great will fuck up, which I think is a beautiful reminder for ourselves as viewers, that even if we're great at something, we might fuck up, and that's okay. It's how you bounce back from it.
Totally. Yeah. And the student doctors, as you said, they come in with some knowledge. They're just done with medical school, et cetera. But you're watching their brains be molded into how the rest of their lives will be.
Yes.
And that's also interesting because, they think they know a lot. They've been told they know a lot. They're, whatever, Ivy League grads, et cetera. But they're now like fish out of water suddenly.
Yes.
And you're watching them have to grapple with even just talking to that patient about this once difficult issue.
Yeah.
And seeing that, I'm an intellectual, but I still have to learn something in a really like person-to-person way is very engaging.
Yeah.
In a way, one of my best girlfriends at home, Rachel Fields, has this complaint about rom-coms, which is, do we have to get to the problem? Like, can't we just have a good time and watch these two people enjoy each other? I kind of like on The Pitt that there's like on the first season, I liked it way better before there was the mass shooting. Like I kind of just wanted it to be, we're doing our jobs.
Yes.
And that alone is engaging, et cetera. Even just seeing like the day-to-day, minute-to-minute work of these people, you just want to be there with them. I don't know. It makes everything feel like it's weirdly comfort viewing, even though it's also so gruesome.
It did eventually become like Love is Blind, which is like, or not Love is Blind, Love Island, where it can kind of play in the background and people are just kind of talking.
Yes.
Like, oh, this is like interesting. But I also will say it gave me so much respect for the doctors, because the amount of jargon, the actors and the doctors, because the amount of jargon and acronyms and words, I'm like, I would never. You do not want me to be your Dr. Love. I would never be able to remember any of this.
Yeah.
Mr. Plavicus? What
Right.
the fuck?
And it just like falls out of them, like auctioneer style.
Yes. I mean, the cast alone deserves Emmys for the fact that they can memorize those lines and memorize all those diseases and illnesses and the acronyms. It's wild.
I think a part of the comfort of the show also in regards to that is you never watch somebody think too hard about what they have to say.
Yeah.
Like they always just have it.
It's right there.
Like I assume in real life a doctor may take an extra beat or two to like deliver the extremely long jargon they have to deliver.
Yes.
Not on this show.
No.
Like even like the students like there's kind of a beat or something, or somebody interrupts with what they have to say.
Yes.
So it all feels like a fast-moving play at all times, even though that's obviously not how real life is. My best friend, who is a heart surgeon, says the one thing that is, or the two things that are not realistic about the show is when they do CPR, like you have to go so much harder than what they do on the show because you cannot fake that.
Gotcha.
You know, like
Yes.
like as actors, you cannot like. You know,
You
like
can't break somebody's ribs. For real.
I guess not yet.
Not yet.
Right.
Soon.
The Shondaverse will figure out a way to break that soon.
1,000%. Yes.
And then also he goes, nobody's writing anything down. You know, it's just like people standing around a gurney, like yelling things at each other. And it's like, well, this is pretty important. Maybe we should. Though this season, they introduced like an AI system that's like taking notes.
Dr. Al got that AI system that kind of fucks up a little bit. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah. And also it's like the fact that it fucks up at all, like maybe we should just not use it.
I mean, we should not use it at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character?
I am figuring that. I mean, like, I have to say, like, I grew up watching ER. Like, I watched the live ER episode when it happened.
Oh my God.
And
I'm sorry, the live ER? Like,
there was an episode where you watched it live in real time. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm 100,000 years old. Yeah.
period.
But on that show, and the thrill of that show is similar to this one. You are watching just competent people do their jobs well, and then on the side, there's some romantic drama. I actually prefer the Pit to ER in that way.
Okay.
There's way more soapiness on ER than there was on this show, I think.
ER, Grey's Anatomy have that soapy, like, outside life.
Quite.
Yes.
Yes. Namely, especially Grey's Anatomy.
Especially Grey's. They always fucking.
But I didn't realize how much I love Noah Wyle.
Daddy Wiley?
Because he never won the Emmy on that show. He was nominated a few times, but it was always really more about, storyline-wise, it was always more about George Clooney, always about Juliana Margulies and Anthony Edwards. But he is fabulous on this show.
He's incredible on this show. And like I call him Daddy Wiley because he has the perfect amount of receding hairline, the perfect amount of grays. Also, to me, he's like a soft Chris Maloney. Like Chris Maloney is like Dom Daddy. Noah Wiley's soft daddy. I'm here for
We need a chart.
We do need a chart with all our daddies.
The range of softness.
Yes.
I guess Chris Maloney does go pretty hard. Oh my
Yeah,
God. You ever
Chris
see him in a movie called Whitebird in a Blizzard?
No,
By
but tell
Greg
me about
Araki? Anyway, he has like a... This is a spoiler. He has... There's the character is revealed to be gay in a very shocking way at the end. Go ahead and see that.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and
I
see
like that.
Yeah.
That might turn me on.
I was going to say, a sequel to sort of his Oz days. If you know anything about that.
There we go.
So I do love him. Honestly, I miss the Doctor they don't have anymore.
Which one?
Tracy, a feature from last season.
Oh, Heather Collins. She was so good.
I don't know what it is about that actress, but there was something about her resting energy that like set the tone for the show in a way.
There was to use the word again, there was a softness about her where you felt comforted. I felt like she was in control, and I like that she was kind of his antagonist a little bit, but also not quite. Like she supported Dr. Robbie.
Yeah.
She supported Dr. Robbie, but also was kind of a pushback to him. And I liked their dynamic.
Yeah, but it wasn't so adversarial that it was like not believable.
Right.
Like she was still professional, etc.
Yeah.
I of course love Catherine Lanaza as the charge nurse.
She's great. Okay, I was watching
Dana is her name.
Dana.
By the way, I literally know none of these characters' names. It
I
is
know a
so
couple of them.
painful to have to remember them. Yeah.
My husband, I was watching and my husband goes, she sounds like Dorinda. And I was like, oh my God, she does sound like Dorinda.
And also kind of has this thing going on, you know?
Yes. No, I love her. And I also love Dr. Mohan. I really love that they're giving you these light storylines that address kind of hospital bias, or that the show has such a multicultural cast, but it's not, the storylines aren't rooted in that, but they do have these little moments where we get to talk about those things. And I really like that. They just kind of let these characters be who they are and be smart. I'm also obsessed with Dr. McKay. I don't know why. Fiona, I don't remember her last name.
Oh, Fiona Dourif. Yes. Who you might know from the Chucky movies because her dad is Brad Dourif, who is Chucky.
Wow.
Yeah, Oscar nominee for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
You better know all these things. You are my pop culture guru. May I call you my Lubru?
I have to tell you, I've gotten that before.
Okay, there we go. I'm going to call you Lubru for the rest of the show.
Oh, you know what? Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with her. And this season, her hair's a little darker this season.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, is that a plot point? I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
She has just the right amount of, did something crazy happen with you at one point?
Yes.
Because she seems like she's gotten it together, but it could all
unravel in a moment's notice. And I'm very excited to see if it does. Also, she literally says in episode 1, like she needs to have sex or something. I'm like, okay, something's happening. We're going to plot something in these 15 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know one way the Pit is not like ER, though?
Tell
How
me.
about that fucking dick that just pops up?
Dick!
Excuse me. First of all, original recipe alien. Like, flying up,
I couldn't believe they showed it.
Also, it's like I know it's clearly fake, etc.
Yeah, but they're
like,
holding that thing.
Yeah, I suddenly became like Rick Baker, like one like makeup guru. Like, how did they create this thing?
1,000%. I was like, what's the prosthetic? What are the conversations? What's the intimacy coordinator? Like, what? Like I want to know all of the politics around this dick that won't go down.
Yeah, this guy took a whole bunch of Viagra or something, and it was like up for hours and hours. Yeah,
I'll tell you a story. I once took Trimix because I was out,
huge in the gay community.
So like that injection in your dick, and it did not go. I was terrified that it would not go down. It didn't go down for quite a few hours, but eventually it did. But the show unlocks fears for me because I'm like, what, that could happen? That could happen? That's what it looks like? I had no idea that they would have to drain you for like hours.
Oh, excuse me. That was my favorite phrase, bone chilling. Like, you watch like all of this blood like go into a pit, and like suddenly it's like the lava in Bowser's castle. It's like rising and rising. It's like we have that much blood in us, let alone there.
In there?
Yeah.
In that?
What?
That's crazy.
I was like, I know nothing about the human body.
I have no idea. We're not doctors.
Yeah.
I had no idea that that's what was in the dick.
Trimix is something where like every time you're like whatever at some gay pool party or whatever, you 5 different people have stories about how like you should or you shouldn't or whatever.
Yes.
So it's like this like. We'll get into that sometime. I'll go on your podcast and we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it, yes.
Yeah. Oh. Have you ever watched the after episode like recaps that they do?
No.
Okay, well, once you do, it is kind of bone chilling because you realize half the cast is like from New Zealand or Australia or London or something. It's like at the end of Scooby-Doo, they rip off the mask and everybody's like from Peter Jackson's world.
Everybody is so talented everywhere else. You know, I mean, we're talented, but it always shocks me when you're like, oh, you're not from here. That's incredible.
I would honestly say this is maybe the most
accent.
xenophobic thing about me. I do believe we've given Australians too much. Why? Like, at what point can we come back from this? You know what I mean? They truly have mastered accents everywhere else.
Everywhere!
And nobody here can do an Australian accent like they can do an American accent.
Everyone can do our accent. We can't do their accent. It's crazy.
We had
really
Toni Collette on the
me.
show one time.
Yeah.
And we were like, can anybody here do an amazing Australian accent? She goes, well, Kate Winslet did one time. I was like, not an American.
That doesn't count.
I burst into tears. We're behind.
We are behind. We need to get our phonetics on.
What other medical dramas, medical shows have you ever been into?
Honestly, it's really just Grey's. Grey's was my introduction because I don't like horror, but I will watch you cut somebody open, you know, if you're going to save their life. So otherwise, I don't want to see it. Like Saw, I saw Saw once, and I've never been the same.
I wish I could relate to horror people. I mean, like I like classic horror, like I love like Halloween and Scream or Rosemary's Baby. Yeah, but like anything where it's just the bloodshed is even a part. Like I don't even like David Cronenberg. Like why?
I don't want any
I'm
of
alive
that.
and loving it.
And I don't like, people are like, you should watch it. I'm like, you're not going to hold me in my dreams. So please respectfully back off, you know? So I want the joy, or I want you to cut them open and save their life.
Which reminds me, I just heard the song, do you know the Billy Ocean song, Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car?
But sing it for me.
Okay, well, I unfortunately don't have the timbre, but I was just thinking that is an awesome thing to say to Freddy Krueger. Get out of my dreams, get into my car.
Just like that.
Yeah, that's how I asked Freddy Krueger on a date.
Get out of my dreams,
my
get out of my
producers are
car.
committing suicide. Okay. I did watch Grey's Anatomy, namely during the main Izzy moment, like right at the beginning.
Of course, yes, before she.
Can I say something? I fucking miss Katherine Heigl. She was great.
Like a couple weeks ago, I was like, she was actually quite incredible, and I don't know what happened, you know, all the drama around it, but she was actually quite an important staple of that show and was brilliant on it.
We kind of gave her like weird rom-coms after that.
Yes,
like
27 Dresses.
Yeah, is anybody
and,
really living for that? I don't know.
No,
but she kind of had the Julia Roberts thing of she was relatable, but there was like an undercurrent of angst all the time.
Yes.
Please, can we have that person back?
Which was like kind of nice because you're like, oh, you're not perfect. Like, there's a relatability, but also she's like, she smokes a little bit. You know, there's that energy. She smokes a little bit.
Is so it.
Yes.
I think when I years and years ago, I was an intern at a magazine, and there was it was like it was an advocate for the Advocate. It was an anniversary party, and she was there. It was the height of Grey's Anatomy, and I watched her smoke. That is how smoking is done.
I believe it. I believe it.
A hard platinum Marlena Dietrich blonde with a cigarette on La Cienega being like, where is my Range Rover?
I believe it.
Yeah.
I feel like she has stories. And I can't wait for her to get a little older so she could really write a book and tell us the stories.
She does feel like she's due for a book.
You know?
Yeah.
Just like a tell-all or like that, just that era of her, or what happened.
Yeah, we stuck her on Suits for a second, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. But
How
it's
did
like,
that go? No.
I don't know.
We're not
I don't
talking
like to
about
lose people to the USA Network. You know. Her moment back in the sun will come. Who was your favorite?
Back on Traitors, maybe. Maybe she comes back on Traitors, redeems herself, resurrects herself.
That's too exciting. She would be too perfect.
It's a pitch.
I also feel like I would be disappointed. Like she wouldn't be able to build alliances, and I'd be like, oh God, this is just like show business.
They would hold the whole thing against her. They'd be like, you did that one thing one time, and we can't talk to you no more. Love.
Right. Who was your favorite Grey's Anatomy cast member?
You know, my favorite was always Sandra Oh. I always,
of course.
I met her a couple months ago, just very briefly, and she touched my sweater. She said, "I love your sweater," and that was that was a moment that I've been waiting years for. But I had this dream that. Remember Dr. Burke, Isaiah Washington?
Of course, yes.
So I had this dream of one day coming on the show, and I would be looking for my father, Isaiah, Dr. Burke, who's gone.
And also you're writing your
I'm writing,
okay.
And Dr. Christina Yang is there, and she takes me under her wing and makes me a great doctor like her, and then she leaves and I replace her. Now, obviously, that didn't happen.
Okay.
But I did pitch it to Shondaland once when I met with them in the general. I said, this is, I have a storyline that if you want to squeeze me in love.
I just want to say you were pitching getting rid of Sandra Oh. You're like, I have a great idea.
And bold.
Goodbye, Sandra Oh.
Hello, Brandon Kyle Goodman. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
No, one of the great travesties in Emmy world is that she never won for that show.
For the show, yes. She's brilliant on that show. One of the haunting scenes is her in that wedding dress trying to get it off of her.
Oh, God, yeah.
Brilliant.
She also is like the Catherine Lanasa of that show. Like the woman on the Pit, where it's like a huge part of why I'm watching this show is not only do you kind of have everything under control, and even though a couple other things go wrong, but I need someone to trust on this show.
Yes.
And you're the trust of the show.
Yes.
You know.
How are you feeling about season 2 so far?
The Pit?
Yeah.
Great. Again, it's like I hope they don't get to an overarching thing like a shooting where it's like, oh, we queued this up with a couple of references early in the episode, and now this has become a traditional TV show.
Yeah.
Because I kind of just like the minute-to-minute operations.
I wonder what I'm sure there has to be a culminating event.
Yeah,
I wonder what it will be.
Well, that new doctor looking at that baby and being like, what the fuck
is
this
Dr.
baby?
Al, yes.
Yeah.
And then they quickly got away from that. And then somebody brought it up really fast. Yeah, I'm like, there's something, that baby knows you.
Something is going on here. It was a little LOL though when the baby appears and she stands there like she's in a horror movie.
Yes,
and the other doctors are like, hello, and she's like
read
moving
a note
on.
Or something. Yes. Didn't she read a note or something that came with the baby? And then there's that woman in the waiting room that they keep zooming in on.
Yes.
Who
Spooky.
I'm assuming is the mother.
Right.
Because like all of a sudden like the sound went out and then they pulled out the baby.
Yeah, they made a huge directorial decision there. They're like, notice this woman.
Notice this woman. She might be important.
But also, you know what I think also like keeps me like propelled into this show is like there are no recognizable actors from other things really. And so it's like I kind of believe the world more.
Sure. But can I shout out that Tracy Villar from the Steve Harvey show, who played Sophia Ortiz, is Lupe on the show. She's the front desk woman.
Oh, yeah.
I recognized her voice immediately. I was like, that's my girl from the Steve Harvey show. That was my show. That's such a deep cut.
I don't think I ever watched the Steve
Harvey show?
That's one of those shows that went probably for like 35 seasons.
Literally. It was with Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer.
The WB?
Yes, the WB. Absolutely. It was,
I remember Michigan J. Frog.
I remember that he would do the dance with the top hat. I don't listen.
Showbiz.
I don't know if the show holds up, but I loved it.
No, once upon a time, I miss when we all sat down and watched like half-hour television together.
Absolutely. What was your favorite like back in the day?
I mean, like I was a big TGIF watcher.
Okay, so like By the Way Matters and Sabrina.
And I love The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Of course. What a great show.
And what are we doing with Karen Parsons, aka Hillary? Here's a history lesson for people who don't understand.
Please, I have to lean back for this.
On every half-hour sitcom, we used to always have a character whose whole thing was my hair is amazing. And all the comedy revolved around that.
Yes.
And when she was like supposed to be independent one episode and she went grocery shopping in her parents' fridge, so good. Because
she lived in the pool house for a little bit.
Yeah, she lived it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Hillary. I mean, I will say this about like Hillary, Alfonso, Tatiana, like those or Urkel, those characters, those actors deserved every Emmy because they were to play a Carlton Banks or to play a Hillary Banks, to play Steve Urkel, and at their age when they were doing that was just brilliant. Quite honestly, like just brilliant comedy.
Also, Tatiana Ali, gorgeous.
Stunning, still stunning.
Yes, looks the same.
Looks the same. I was on Abbott Elementary with her. In fact, I was on Abbott with her and we were shooting across from the Pit. And I know what the Pit was. All these fucking people came out bloody as fucking. I was like, what's that? And they said, oh, it's the Pit. I said, what's that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. By the way, elsewhere on television, The show Industry is back. And this is a show, it's in no way like Schitt's Creek, but in that Schitt's Creek people liked, and then suddenly they were obsessed with it on season 3 or 4.
Yes.
I feel like that's what's happening with Industry, and I'm way behind.
1000%, because I watched a bit of the first season and I was like, I can't do it. And so I hopped out, and then it became this big craze. And so I was like, all right, I'll go back to it. I did this with Succession too. I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes of Succession, and then I was like, not for me. And then I went back, and you know what was the key difference? I put on the subtitles.
Oh.
Baby, you put on them subtitles, because with the British accent and all the lingo, I was just like, what are they saying? But now with the subtitles, Industry, I'm hooked. Succession, obviously, also hooked. But it's so good. Marissa Abela, I will watch her read the phone book. I know that's a basic thing to say, but she is brilliant on the show.
She was great this year, and if you saw the movie Black Bag with
Black
Cate Blanchett,
Bag.
and she also was really good as Amy Winehouse until the singing.
Damn.
Yes. But everything else was great.
They made her sing live, Amy Winehouse?
I they were going for the Renee Zellweger as Judy thing, which they didn't know that lightning struck. Like, literally, maybe lightning has struck Renee Zellweger. We don't know. But she was otherwise good in a very difficult assignment.
Damn. No, but she's incredible on the show. Myhala is incredible on the show. It's like a juicy. I love it because they're all villains, and so like no one's really a good person on the show, and so there's something just like interesting about getting to watch people in finance be as nasty as they are.
And it also seems like all the audiences agree we don't really understand what's happening
at all. I can't even explain what the show's about, quite honestly. I just know that they're cheating and they're lying and they fucking, and they're in the most extreme versions of wealth are present, and it's just really exciting. And the ensemble is just really strong.
I think one of the reasons we come back to episodic TV, actually reality TV too, is we want to see people connive well.
Yeah.
You know, have something over other people. Because I think that's like the dream we all live with. Like, I just wish I had one edge over like the people around me in some way. And who really does? You know, but TV characters often
characters
do.
can. I know. It's like I could never sleep at night if I did half of what they're doing on these shows at all.
Yeah.
So I like to watch it. It's like I'm living vicariously through these characters on screen.
Yeah.
Also, I love that Myhala is like this American who shows up inside of this, UK bank situation. And so there's here's what I really love about Myhala is that it's a black female character who is so flawed and so powerful and so fucked up and so strong. I think it's we don't always get to see that character on TV for sure, especially not as the lead of the show.
I think that's my next project to catch up on this whole show.
Please do subtitles.
Yeah, it also feels very
Captions,
just
captions.
like for adults, like a good show that like doesn't feel like it's condescending or like pandering to the least common denominator.
They do not care if you understand or not. They're going to keep going. So that's why I say captions. Watch it.
We'll be right back with more Keep It, but before that, some quick housekeeping. Angelinos and Beyond, your favorite live gay political late night show that is also released as a podcast, is back with a whole new slate of shows just announced for 2026. Join host Jon Lovett at Dynasty Typewriter in LA as he breaks down the biggest and dumbest stories in politics and welcomes a rotating lineup of the brightest stars in show business and politics for games, trivia, and the kinds of conversations you won't hear anywhere else. The guests this week are Frankie Quinones and Kevin Nealon. I love Kevin Nealon. Head to crooked.com/events to check out the lineup and grab tickets. They're always adding guests. All right, when we're back, we're joined by Bill Skarsgård. Keep It is brought to you by Factor. You want to eat better, but you have zero time and zero energy to make it happen? Factor doesn't ask you to meal prep or follow recipes. It just removes the entire problem. 2 minutes, real food, done. I'm here, but you know what's happening at my home right now? Factor meals are being delivered. And guess what that means? I will actually eat. I can't feed myself, nourish myself otherwise. Factor takes the guesswork out of making my life happen, basically. I eat when I want. They're delicious meals. They're dependable. I've been doing it for years. Are you not hearing me? You're not failing at healthy eating. You're failing at having 3 extra hours every night. Factor is already made by chefs, designed by dietitians, and delivered to your door. You heat it for 2 minutes and you eat it. It has all the stuff you want, like lean proteins, colorful vegetables, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats without the things you don't want. There are no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and no refined seed oils. There are 100 rotating meals every week, high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean, GLP-1 support, ready-to-eat salads. You pick what fits your goals, healthier eating, calorie management, more protein, whatever you're actually trying to do. I know that when I go home, I have meals that will suit whatever my day is. If I want something that's very protein heavy, I want something that's a little bit more vegetable heavy, I have both because I've chosen them myself. And my favorite Factor meal, I'm going the honey mustard chicken. Ultimately, I'm one of those people that would just eat chicken fingers for the rest of my life if you let me, but this is a healthy version that I can eat just as much. Head to factormeals.com/keepit50off and use code KEEPIT50off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pastas. Plus, all items conveniently bake in 25 minutes or less. Unlike many store-bought options, Wild Grain uses simple ingredients you can pronounce and a slow fermentation process that can be easier on your belly and richer in nutrients and antioxidants. There's no preservatives and no shortcuts. Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable. In addition to their variety box, they have a gluten-free box, vegan box, and a new protein box. I love these varieties specifically. I never would have bought a vegan box otherwise, but I went and tried it, loved it. I can experiment with new choices that I know are going to be healthy, but they're things I wouldn't normally pick out in the grocery store. It's delicious. There's nothing like having an artisan bakery in your freezer to chase away the winter chill. Now is the best time to stay in and enjoy comforting, homemade meals with Wild Grain. I highly recommend giving Wild Grain a try. Right now, Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off your first box plus free croissant for life when you go to wildgrain.com/keepit to start your own subscription today. That's $30 off your first box and free croissant for life when you visit wildgrain.com/keepit, or you can use promo code KEEPIT at checkout. This week's guest is a singular actor known for the It films, Nosferatu, Barbarian, and several other films that go bump in the night. He's currently starring in Dead Man's Wire, which is in theaters now. Please welcome to Keep It, Bill Skarsgård. Welcome.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, man. How you doing?
I am excellent. First of all, there's a lot to talk about with this movie, but I had never heard of this real life hostage situation before, and I did not know there was a ton of footage of this very memorable man that is highly quotable, highly erratic, and highly rewatchable. When you get a script like this, which is full of authentic dialogue from a real person we can watch, and yet he's also not a household name, what kind of creative license do you feel you're allowed to take when putting this guy on the silver screen?
Yeah, I mean, even the first time I read the script, Austin, the writer, had put in links to the actual footage as you were reading the script, right? So you would read the scene where Tony is capturing his mortgage broker, Dick Hall, and he calls 911, and there's a link to the actual recording of that phone call. And the stuff that he's saying in the scripts is verbatim what he said in the actual phone call. And the script was just kind of littered throughout the whole time, the whole script, reading it, to references to the actual case. So for me, initially, I mean, it was impossible to separate the guy, the character in the movie, the character in the script, and the real life guy. And I've done some transformative performances before, but I was like, I don't know if I can be this guy, because we don't look anything alike. You know, he's probably a foot shorter than me, and looks about 20 years older. Even though we are much closer to age, but you know the phenomenon. If you go back in the 70s and look at 35-year-olds or 40-year-olds, they look like 80. But so I ended up having, like, I mean, I was wrestling with it. I was like researching him so much, and listening to his voice so much, and tried to find his sort of cadence and the way he spoke. And because the words were verbatim, the things that he said, it's like, it's not dialogue that's normally written, right? And there was a way he said them that I thought was great, and I wanted to use it as much as possible. And then I ended up getting, like, sort of in my own way. I was like, I can't separate the two, and I just felt like I couldn't, like, 100% be this guy, you know. And of course I can't, but in my mind I was like, that's the only way I can do it. And I had conversations with wonderful director Gus Van Sant, and it got to a point where he was just saying, all right, I think he was never worried, and was just kind of let the real guy go, and kind of he gave his blessing of me using my own sort of creative freedom, so I wasn't blocked in impersonating or mimicking. So this was all in the prep, so once we came to Louisville and we were gearing up to shoot, I was still kind of discovering him, but it wasn't until the first day of shooting where I was like, okay, here's our guy, here's my guy, who is heavily inspired by the real guy, but he, is also at the end of the day a fictional character in a movie, So it wasn't easy, It's a great question because it was something that I had to kind of come to terms with. Um, but it was important for me that you could feel the spirit of the real Tony Kuritzis in my performance, without it feeling, contrived or fake or anything. That it felt like a real guy that you meet the first time you see the movie. But hopefully, you see the film first, and then you can go into the YouTube rabbit hole of looking up the real case because it's very fascinating, and the guy is very fascinating.
Yes, I think his authenticity shines through. There's a bone chilling and also just I'll call it quirky quality that you definitely capture about this guy. But also in general, at this point, you are so used to dealing with unsettling material. When you read something that is either creepy or weird or just shocking in a script, do you immediately think, oh, this is an exciting moment for me as an actor? Like, what is hard for you about translating unsettling material to the screen?
I don't know. Like, I don't think unsettling is something that really is a big driver for me. Like, I've done things that are obviously very unsettling, but that's not like reading a script and I go, oh man, this character is so scary in this scene or unsettling, or that's not really what motivates me, as much as the complexity of the character itself, And if it is like, I do tend to I do like the transformative aspect of performing. So like, okay, here's something that, isn't even alive, or it lives in the imagination of children and he eats them, like, so there's like whatever that is just like sort of a mental gymnastics of trying to figure out something that is that abstract, and then what would that thing sound like, or how does a 350-year-old zombie vampire move and speak, and that stuff is just, for me, creatively so inspiring because there's just so much to do there, and discover, and there's so much there's so many ways it can go wrong, but also, so many ways of just like, okay, I hope that, when you watch Nosferatu, for instance, I hope that you don't know that I'm in the film, and if that's the case, then I've succeeded in transforming myself as much as I humanly can, so that's fun. But it's not unsettling that's driving me. And in the sense of Tony, yes, there's the I think that it's sort of an effective thriller in the sense that, you have the Chekhov gun in the first 5 minutes, and it's literally wired to the hostage's neck. So like, it's just good tension and thrill in that. And then the character, I found him, yes, it's very unsettling if you view the thing from the perspective of Dacre Montgomery's character, of like, holy shit. Um, um, uh, but from Tony's perspective, he's just really pissed off and feels like he's reduced to this violent behavior because of life and how life has mistreated him and how these greedy motherfuckers have treated him. And he feels that, in some way, that the whole system is rigged against him and people like him. And this is his 15 minutes of fame of just standing up on a soapbox and yelling at the top of his lungs how angry he is. And that I can sympathize with and certainly understand. I don't condone kidnapping someone with a shotgun, but yeah.
Another treat for movie fans in this particular film is it's set in the 1970s and it has so many just the look of it like takes you back to not just that time, but like movies of that time, like the color palette, like the drabness of that time. It just feels like like Network or Dog Day Afternoon, and we'll get to Al Pacino in a second. But I was wondering if on the set of this movie you had favorite 70s-ish props that were around, because it's really a feast for the eyes in terms of just that drab, dank 1970s feeling.
Production designer did a great job with a wonderful costume designer, and Peggy, and it was amazing working with her. I mean, everyone involved. It's one of those things when you work with a seminal filmmaker, is that they can basically get whoever they want, to work for them. So it was also, we had a great crew of really talented people that were excited to make a Gus Van Sant movie. And I'd say that, like, I mean, this was a very ambitious film. We shot it in only 19 days, so everything was very sort of super quick, super high pace, and that lent itself to this kind of kinetic energy of the story, that it is, handheld, two cameras. It's very sort of that kind of scrappy visuals of the era. We shot with, these Ikegami cameras, who were the actual TV cam recorders, video recorders that they had from the 70s. So when you watch the movie, it's intercut with this footage that looks like it's a TV reporter's footage of us in character acting it out. So that was very cool. And, as we were shooting at one point, Gus was like, maybe we should shoot the whole film in Ikegami. I'm like, oh, let's not go that far. But yeah, I mean, it was just a great group of people. And when a great group of people come together, even though it's budget issues and a short shoot, everybody just steps up to create that kind of, 70s feel, scrappy feel.
You also just brought up Gus Van Sant. And I have to tell you, I was just looking over his filmography, and there are certain people like Ang Lee or Mike Nichols where you look at the breadth of what they've done, and frankly, it just doesn't make sense, the level of range. Like, you look, when you wonder, how can the guy who did Drugstore Cowboy be the guy who did Finding Forrester or Milk and now this movie? I was wondering if you could help us explain or help understand his versatility and what goes into what inspires him. Because if you just look at his films in the abstract, it's like, I guess you're inspired by everything.
Now, knowing Gus and having worked with him, it says a lot about the man, like, there are filmmakers that are, almost autistically specific with their films. That's like, in two frames, you can go, okay, I know who made this, whereas I think Gus is a very curious man, and he's curious about a lot of different things. And I think that sort of the way he works is, there's something about the story that inspires him. Sometimes he writes it himself, and sometimes it's a script that comes to him. So even that in its own right, some filmmakers only do their own written material, and some never do it, but he does both. And there's something about the story that activates something in him, and he goes, okay, now I'm attached. And with this script, I mean, I think it was, I think he said it, where it was like he was reading the script the first time, and it came to him like really late, so the first conversation I had with Gus, he was like, I just read the script. He said to me like a couple of weeks before. I was like, wait, where they want to shoot it in a month? So it was like everything about this movie just kind of came about very rapidly, and sort of, again, sort of true to the kinetic energy of Tony, I guess. But he pressed the link and heard the archival recordings of the 911 call, and was like, okay, this guy is very fascinating. And then that was his in. So, and and I think I'm the same. Like, it's hard for someone to go like, what is the role that you, what's the type of project that you're inspired or like wants to do, or like to your point, if it's like, oh, it's unsettling. I don't know, like I can't put it into words. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like that feeling that you get when you like almost like kind of this like butterflies in your stomach of like, oh man, this is, I'm getting excited about what I'm reading. And that's kind of, it's an indescribable thing, but for him, of course, it needs that. So Gus only follows what activates him. But then how he works as a filmmaker is like his kind of zen-like approach to life is also how he approaches filmmaking. I mean, you know, when and Dacre and I would just have ideas and like this and this, like when we were both very opinionated actors, and we got along really well. But we both have thought and prepared a lot, and we bring that to the table. So a lot of the rehearsals was just like us kind of, you know, uh, uh, ranting about ideas of what the scene is, and it could be this, it could be that. And he was sort of like calm, and even like us finding the blocking, he would never interfere with it. And towards sort of when we were running out of steam, he would kind of go, "Okay, well, I think that is good, and I think that," and kind of gently steering it a little bit, but never forcing it. And he was also discovering the movie as we were all discovering the movie, as I was discovering the character. So like after the first scene that we did, which is the scene where I walk into the Meridian Mortgage, and there's this cute secretary, but she's not the secretary that's usually there, which is the thing that we kind of improvised on the day. But it was just immediately, it was like, okay, I didn't know that Tony was going to be this funny. And then Gus didn't really either, and he's like, "Oh, I guess maybe this is a comedy." And I think it is a comedy. I think it's a dark comedy, but it was, and it takes a lot of experience and self-confidence to approach filmmaking that way, where the movie discovers itself, it finds itself, and but he's not a filmmaker that forces it into something. So it's an organic way of the film discovers itself. And if you approach that way, every movie is going to be different. It's very cool. It's very cool. Like, I was very inspired by it.
We're just coming off the Golden Globes, where we saw that your dad won the Best Supporting Actor Golden Globe for Sentimental Value. And I have to say about that performance, that's like the only performance this year where when I think back on it, even just the look on his face throughout that movie is so astonishing, like conveying so much about the fucking character that's like heartbreak. It's so real. It doesn't feel like acting. It feels like you're watching this guy live his life. And I was wondering what was going through your head watching this movie and watching this performance, if it surprised even you.
Yeah, I was. It was a very. It's an interesting experience watching it. I Because like last year I worked more than I think I've ever worked. It was just on, so I missed so much of like all the premieres, even premieres of my things, and I just see like all of these like all this footage of like Alex and Estelle, and just like having the time of their life together, both promoting their films, and I'm like stuck in some film set somewhere. But watching the movie, so I hadn't seen it. Everybody else had seen it except my other brother Sam, who's a cardiologist, by the way, and nobody speaks about Sam, but he's the real pride of the family, saving lives. But so Sam and I were like, "Oh, you hadn't seen it either," so him and I went and saw it together in Stockholm, and it was very sweet watching it with your brother as well, because obviously the film is so much about you know. Fatherhood and having a successful creative father, and the daughters, and I think that like I knew like I could I spoke to my dad when he was doing it, and I spoke to him after he had done it, and he came out of that production so energized and so kind of excited. And my dad he keeps saying now, like, "Oh, it's one of the like the greatest role I've ever done." And I'm not sure, like he's done some amazing performances. You know what I mean? So, but it's for sure up there. But it was a while ago where he got to just act and act in this way. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very different thing doing like Dune or Andor to like a Joachim Trier film, you know, where it's like, you know, not too unsimilar to Gus, I think, but you know, Joachim is it's all about the performance and acting. So it's just, you know, it seems to me like there's in terms of an actor's director, he might be the best one we have now, you know. So you know, he has such a great experience on it, and me watching it with my brother, and there's all this kind of meta. My dad is like, I know there's been kind of a running joke, like my dad is nothing like this guy, even though my brother Gustav called him up as soon as he saw it, and he was like, "Do you recognize yourself?" And my dad was like, "No," but I didn't see Stellan. I really saw the character he was playing. Like that, my dad is not that guy. I mean, my dad has 8 kids, and his like family is so important to him. So it wasn't that, but there's obviously elements in it, and then it's just elements of like, you know, I have 2 daughters, and like I'm working, you know, so there's all of that. Like there's kind of this like, oh, like, you know, being a self-obsessed creative is part of being a creative. You know what I mean? Like, so that balance of like, okay, don't let, you know, your passion get in the way of the most important relationships in your life, obviously. But I'm very proud of his performance. I love that a Norwegian film is taking in all, like just sweeping the awards the way it is, and him winning the Globe. I mean, it's just cool, man. It's just like, you know, cinema should be a global thing, and you know, for very many reasons, it's just like the Oscars and the Globes, and that's sort of the center stage of the world. But you know, it's an American thing, really. But seeing movies from all over the world contending at that stage is just great because, you know, people should watch more films from all over the world, I think. So
I was thinking about receptions of movies and how fabulously they're taken in by not just the audiences who go to see these kinds of movies, but people who would normally not watch them. And when I think of Barbarian, the way people talk about that movie, who didn't know what they were getting into going in and still came out loving it, even though it's a very risky, one-of-a-kind movie. I was wondering what particular place of pride that movie has in your filmography for you.
yeah. I mean, like, uh, it was one of those films that was like, you know, like Zach Kreger had written this script and he was so excited about it. We were like shooting it in Bulgaria for no money whatsoever. And, you know, it had Roy Lee producing it, who's you know, unknown, who's sort of a titan in the horror genre, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, like it's a low budgeted movie shot in Bulgaria. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like the script's great. And like it's so effective. So, I wasn't surprised by the success of it, you know, and but it felt like, you know, again, it's just like, you know, Zach's thing, and he wrote this thing, and we had fun. You know, for me, it was just basically like 6 7 days of work, you know, like it felt like we shot a short film, and of course, the movie establishes the creepiness and the unsettlingness of it, but from my perspective, my character's a kind of a really nice guy who's just framed with the lens of like spooky music in the background. But like what, and I just love that. Like you, like the first time you watch it, you're like, oh no, he's gonna like do horrible things to this poor girl. And then at the end, it's like, no, he was like just like a really nice guy. So like rewatching it, you know, I don't think my performance, except for like the sound design and the way they shot it, of like creating creepy atmosphere, which is sort of the sort of general state of Georgina's character. But for me, it was just like, no, we're you know, this is a sweet guy, and this is an awkward situation, and you know, it's almost kind of like a meet cute, and then something horrible happens. So I had a lot of fun with it, and then the success of the movie was just like, you know, it just kind of really launched like some of the producers like JD and Rafael Boldelight, like it launched them big, and like Zach massively launched him. So it's always cool that you're just a part of something that just kind of really launches great people and creative people, you know what I mean? Because like that movie overperformed so much that, like, you know, obviously Zach just did Weapons that crushed it as well, and like, I mean, he's just at the top of his game right now, and yeah, it's always fun being part of a journey that new creatives get to, you know, launch their careers off of your project, you know, that you're involved in.
Well, thank you so much for being with us here today. I hope people watch this movie, but two, also watch you bring the human origin to Pennywise on It Welcome to Derry, which is a real pleasure to take in.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, appreciate it.
Keep It is brought to you by strawberry.me. You know that feeling when a new year starts and you tell yourself, okay, this is the year, work is going to be great. And then 2 weeks later, you're already burnt out again. We've been there. Yes, if work left you drained last year, today's sponsor, strawberry.me, can help you change that. Strawberry is career coaching that gets to the real source of your burnout. Whether it's too much on your plate, no boundaries, a tough manager, or just feeling totally disconnected from the work you do. A coach helps you figure out what's draining you, build habits that protect your energy, redesign your day-to-day so it feels sustainable, and create a plan so burnout doesn't come back by March. It's not therapy, but honestly, it's like therapy for your career. And here's the good part. You can get matched with a coach who fits your personality and goals in just a few minutes. Sessions are flexible, private, and made for real people with real jobs, not the fantasy version of you that always has it together. If you're listening to this thinking, yep, I'm burned out, let this be your New Year reset. Go to strawberry.me/keepit and try your first coaching session for 50% off. That's strawberry.me/keepit. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Here's the problem with the new year. January is the worst part of it, and it's supposed to be the kickoff, the springboard to the rest of your year, and yet it feels so dull. Nobody has any plans. You know, MLK weekend, I might have a fancy meal, but otherwise, what am I doing with my time? What am I thinking? And the fact of the matter is, it's not a very inspiring time to start a new year, but that's where BetterHelp can help you. Working on yourself doesn't have to be work you do alone. That's why there's BetterHelp. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and their 12-plus years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they typically get it right the first time. If you aren't happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time from their tailored recs. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is one of the world's largest online therapy platforms, having served over 5 million people globally, and it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/keepit. That's betterhelp.com/keepit. Now, Brandon, you are obsessed with sex and relationships, and even though my Midwestern nature prevents me from speaking about that thing, quoth Lauryn Hill, I'm going to, as the kids say, match your energy so we can discuss our favorite sexually liberating watches. Brandon, first off, how do you define sexual liberation, and are you liberated?
Oh, I love that question. Yes, and yes. I define it as compassionately giving yourself permission to explore your desires without shame or judgment. Ooh. I think that people think sexual liberation is like, you know, getting a train ran on you or exploring all these kinks. But I think that, you know, I redefine the word hoe. I spell H-E-A-U-X on my side of the internet.
Oh, how very Jasmine Sullivan.
Yes, thank you. And I say that it's a hoe is someone who commits to the liberation of themselves and others by thoughtfully interrogating their relationship to sex using curiosity, communication, and compassion. So in my world, I believe that you could fuck everybody in a room and not be a hoe. You could be asexual and be the biggest hoe, because sexual liberation isn't about penetration or fucking. It's about your relationship to your body and giving yourself permission to explore your body and find the desires that you want and also create your own blueprint. Because I think our society really wants to box people in on how they should have sex or how they should relate to their body. And so liberation is saying, fuck that. What works for me works for me. And what does work for me, I'm going to be curious enough to discover that.
That's also an interesting kind of conundrum for gay men, I feel like, because when they're all together, it's sort of like the vibe is we all want the same thing,
yes,
but it's not.
But it's not.
And it's sort of like it doesn't feel like there's much space to just say to yourself, no, but I want this one specific thing, and it doesn't involve what these 99 other people may want.
Yes,
you know?
yes. It's having the courage to not go with the tide, right? And to say, oh, I might want something different and that's okay. If you want to be at a big sex party, great. Or you might go to the sex party and realize I just want a watch. I don't want to do anything. Or you might go, I actually don't like sex parties. I prefer one-on-one, and giving yourself permission to go, oh, that's okay. Or even I have this right now, like when it comes to winter, I don't like to have sex as much. And I used to, I guess, be critical of myself, like, oh, I should want sex. I should be having sex more often or whatever it is. And it's like, no, your libido may waver and that's okay. You're in areas where you're like, I'm super horny and that's okay. And you're in areas where you're like, I'm not horny at all and that's also okay. I think it's again, taking away the shame and the judgment and allowing yourself to just let your body do what it wants to do.
Yeah, right. There's never going to be a moment where someone's like, actually, we checked all your notes and you've done sex wrong.
Yes, exactly. But that's what we're all afraid of. We're all afraid that we're doing it wrong, or that the other person is judging us or critiquing us or being critical of us. And if they are, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? But like at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want? And I think especially for queers, femmes, for women, like we're not taught to care about what we want inside of the bedroom. And so sexual liberation is really important for those demographics.
Now, when you're watching movies and TV shows about this subject,
Yes.
do you find yourself often satisfied with what you see, or is it rare that you kind of get like a triumphant moment in this way?
It's actually kind of rare. I think that there's a lot of sex on TV, but a character that is sexually liberated, I don't think there are as many. One of the originals, or not originals, actually I would say one of the like old school, I would say Blanche from Golden Girls.
Oh, sure.
She was always freely.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely, right? She was always freely talking about her sex, and the girls would like say whatever, but it was understood that she was a quote unquote hoe or whore, but she never had shame about it. She was like, yeah, I'm going to fuck. Samantha from Sex and the City, same thread. Like she was the most sexually liberated of that group, and she never had any judgment or shame. I think there was that one episode where Carrie walks in on her sucking dick in her office, and then she felt shame about that. But for the most part, we understood that Sam was not ever ashamed and wanted to fuck as much as she could.
I think you can't get around Sex and the City in this conversation because truly the four of them, I mean, obviously Charlotte had more shame to work with, I guess. But like the four of them were working it out. Like
literally.
The show was about like, I was wrong that time. I can do that again. I'll try that again.
Yes.
It was like a sort of like finagling your way through sexuality and not just relationships. Like they obviously, Cynthia Nixon, Miranda, obviously in that show and Just Like That has gone through maybe the biggest metamorphosis.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I mean, what even compares to that, on television?
It's I think one of the greatest examples of it, and truly as well, because there's community in it. Like that's a big part of sexual liberation, is that when you're doing it by yourself, it can feel far more daunting. But when you're allowed to talk to the people that you're close with about, oh, I want to try this, or I'm thinking about this, or I did that. Like Samantha says, I just tasted the funkiest spud or whatever it is.
Funkiest tasted sponge, yes.
Yes, right. So the ability...
Put it on my tombstone, yes.
The ability to be able to feel comfortable enough to say that with your community, with your friends, is part of what allows you to feel that sexual liberation and allows you to explore that much more. One of my favorites, I would be, I think, killed if I didn't say it, was Big Mouth, which is the show obviously that I wrote on and voiced on.
Oh, no, a fabulous show. Allow me to speak on your behalf quickly.
Yes, please.
It's one of those shows where I can't believe we haven't had an animated show just about adolescence and like the chaos of it and the beauty of it.
Yes.
And how it all mixes together and like, the person you become afterwards. We were really behind as a culture until we got that show, I think.
I think so too. And I joined season 4, so I was a fan before I joined the show. And one of the episodes, I think it's episode 3, that really hooked me was Am I Gay? And it's where Andrew, our lead, Andrew Glauberman, played by John Mulaney, is he watches a trailer of The Rock's new movie as Paul Bunyan and gets a little turned on, and now is not sure if he's gay, and spends the episode kind of exploring whether or not he is. And the beauty of our hormone monsters is they never judge. They're like, okay, maybe you are, maybe you're not. How can I help you discover this? Which is part of that sexual liberation. At the end, obviously, he discovers that he's not gay. But the fact that the show even had an episode like that, where they made it normal for a teenager to explore whether or not he's queer, even if he finds out that he's not, that is incredible. I think it's incredible for obviously those characters, but also us as an audience going, it's okay to explore yourself.
Do you have a favorite moment in the VO booth on that show?
Yes. It was on Big Mouth. Yes, I have so many favorite moments. One of them I think was when they introduced the Love Bugs. I got to record with Pam Adlon. And it was right before COVID, so it was like it was my last time recording with somebody in a booth. Other than that, we were all very, very solo. But getting to play opposite Pam was just
she seems rad as fuck.
Oh my
love
gosh,
her.
she's the coolest, just like the dopest. So that was one of my favorites.
And her daughter is popping off right now, and I Love LA and Marty Supreme.
Yes. Yeah. Tell me any sexual liberating movies for you that you love.
You know what's interesting
or
is
TV
like,
shows?
well, I'm very obsessed with older movies.
Okay,
and I
yes.
love like the origins of finally getting sex in movies, like in a realistic way, especially as it pertains to like a woman controlling the story.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's a movie in the late 60s called Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
Okay, I don't know it.
Which is Natalie Wood at, I mean, it's crazy to say at her most gorgeous, but she's so stunning in it.
Yeah.
Diane Cannon, who's a great actress, still with us.
Yes.
And you can watch her on Instagram, sort through the sweaters in her closet right now.
I want to.
But it's this it's a sex comedy basically about like musical chairs between these two couples sexually.
Yeah.
And all I'll say is it's such a brilliant script and so both comedic and very dramatic. Both Diane Cannon and Elliot Gould were nominated for Oscars. That when the movie ends with them playing What the World Needs Now Is Love, it is not too cheesy.
Oh,
I really, really recommend it.
What's it called again?
Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
Beautiful.
And the director of that movie, Paul Mazursky, is I think the #1 most underrated director in the history of Hollywood. He also eventually did An Unmarried Woman, starring Jill Clayburgh in the late 70s. Another movie basically about sexual liberation, but it's about a woman being divorced suddenly, like shockingly, and her figuring out what to do. Great movie.
Love.
But he's done a bunch of other fabulous movies like Enemies, a Love Story, just for example. But I love that people even made the stabs to say, here's what's going on in a woman's head during these crazy moments where like her sexual liberation is at stake, her livelihood is at stake.
Yes.
And it's just brilliantly put on screen. And thank God we had the caliber of actors we had at that time. Jill Clayburgh is just one of the greatest actors we've ever put in a movie like that.
The power of TV and movies is a representation because sex is such it can feel so daunting and scary and so solo. And you're like, no, we all are here because somebody fucked.
Yeah.
Right? So we might as well talk about it and like own it and reclaim it. Did you watch Dying for Sex?
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
That's
we had Jenny Slate here talking about it once upon a time.
Love her.
But what I love about that show also is it's about Michelle Williams finding out she has this terminal diagnosis and then being like, I have some sexual things to figure out about myself in the meantime. And so she goes about it. And then at the end of the show, she basically learns about the dying process, which like the show takes a turn again and is like revelatory in that way too. I loved her on that show because she was so... You know, Michelle Williams has that resting sense of melancholy about her in most roles.
Well,
but in this one, it's sort of like she got to, because her life was ending soon and she knew it, she got to be frank with herself in a way that was fun to see on screen and realistic, I thought. Yeah,
you know, why I love that show so much, it's one of I think my favorite examples of sexual liberation, because to me, sex is the candy to talk about your body and your relationship to your body. And so like she has this terminal cancer and suddenly is like, what is this body? And how do I bring this body pleasure? And so I think that's the journey that you follow her on. Is it's not just about her discovering, you know, if she a dom with her neighbor, Rob Delaney, but also just like, what is my body and how can I use my body and how can I be in my body before it's gone?
Yes.
I mean, I think that to me is my prayer for all of us, is that we know this thing you carry around with you all day, and people don't know if licking your ear turns you on, if rubbing your nipple turns you on. Like, to not know what your pleasure points on your body is, I think robs you of getting to fully enjoy your existence. You got one life, one body.
Yeah.
I think Dying for Sex does a really good job of displaying that and reflecting that.
And I also think these shows are about like, to stop denying your self-awareness about this. Like, no, I do know what turns me on, and I can just indulge that, or I can cherish that, as opposed to being like, allow me to sort of adapt myself to something else, whether it's a standard or another person or whatever.
Yeah, it's needing to release the shame, needing to release the judgment. There's so much shame happening outside of us. A lot of us, I know, me personally, like come from religious trauma and religious shame. And so it's like, at some point, when do we get to wake up and go, that is not mine. This body is mine, and I do not need to be ashamed of it. Whatever it looks like, whatever it feels like, it's mine, and I get to enjoy it. I get to indulge with it. I get to explore it. And I should. It's your right. It is your birthright to enjoy and explore your body. It's not for somebody else. It is for you.
Do you have particular movies you love in this regard?
American Pie.
Well, you know what? I like that answer because it is about like the adolescent exploring in a way. I mean, it's obviously very zany and like slapstick.
1000%. But it is. But it's like they're exploring. They're figuring it out. And they're trying to do it without shame. But I think it's one of those movies that did it for me. For me, I will say one of my personal big sexual liberation moments was the Axe body spray commercials.
Oh, sure.
Do you remember those?
Well, also just like have pecs been more chiseled than in an Axe body spray commercial?
Never.
And have the bathrooms been cleaner?
Never. And in that black and white,
it could be an operating room.
Literally. Listen, I want to eat off that nipple. It was that was an awakening for me, and as well as we talked about it earlier, but Steve Urkel becoming Stefan.
Oh, excuse me,
baby.
The number one thing I miss about old television is entire studio audiences going, woo!
Yes, yes.
Like the audience must have been literally waving handkerchiefs or panties
throwing
or whatever.
Panties, yes.
And I assume that role was Jaleel White's idea.
Of course it was.
He's like, what if I was really hot?
I cannot be a nerd all the time.
Yeah.
And it worked. It worked for me, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying
what was the sexual awakening for you?
Oh, well, everybody my age says this, but Ryan Phillippe in the locker room in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Sure.
Where he's wearing like a chain. I'm wearing
Ryan
his
Chain. You're wearing Ryan Chain. Yes.
He just had that.
Also, Cruel Intentions, right?
Oh, please. Yeah.
So
I
sexy.
came late to that.
Okay.
And also, that would have probably been more instructed to me because there was something kind of gay about that.
There was very gay things happening in that movie. Yes.
Even in Dangerous Liaisons, like John Malkovich's choices playing the same role are like, actually, I'm a big bitch.
Yes,
there's something kind of Samantha about the two of them.
Oh my God, perfect.
And of course, this is I was like 18 by this time, so it's like a little late, but still resonates with me. Jesse Metcalfe on Desperate Housewives. Really dark-haired men with big eyebrows. That's like a theme in
gardening.
My life.
Yes, doing some yard work.
Oh, please,
baby, because I hate the yard. Lord knows I can't do nothing in that yard. So when you do it, love. Yeah, Jesse Metcalfe was fine as fuck. I remember there was such a craze around him.
Yes,
what's he doing? And then
it was exactly 2004.
Yes, and he had
John Tucker Must Die.
Thank you.
And then he must die.
Then he must die. Damn. Oof. Shout out to Jesse Metcalfe, wherever you are.
Oh my God, no, that particular
Traitors, bring it back to Traitors.
No kidding. Yeah, he also had that look like very hot, like Real World cast members at the time. People named like Dunbar. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Particular 2000s kind of metrosexual hottest. Remember when we threw that word out there?
That was a wonderful word for a time.
Yeah,
metrosexual.
I think Ryan Seacrest is still living it down.
He's holding it up on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, right.
My God.
If you belted your like hard Guess jeans, you were a metrosexual.
If you were in those skinny jeans with some good Chelsea boots, metrosexual.
Do we think the skinny jeans are actually coming back this year?
People
keep yelling at us.
I really hope not, because they're so tight, and I really like to breathe.
Literally, my entire college experience was wearing jeans that felt like sheet metal.
From literally, like mine from Urban Outfitters and American Apparel were particularly skinny.
Oh, no, you could see the veins on my thighs. And by the way, my body was like all elbows. I had no business wearing skin tight anything.
There was no room for the ass in any of those jeans, but we were obsessed with that. They were they were borderline jeggings. And then jeggings did come out.
Oh, please. No, jeggings were a word I said seriously once upon a time. Like, I have to put them on. If I'm going to be in society, I have to wear this jeggings. Yes.
Oh, what a time. There's also, I think, Noah's Ark does a great job. I mean,
I think people really have held on to that show.
Yeah, there's a cult following around that show. And it came out, I think, right after Sex and the City, and kind of some vibe. It was like 4 friends, but black gay men. And the movie came out, I think, at the end of last year, and I had the chance to interview Patrick Ian Polk. And there's just some beautiful, like, again, there's never any shame around their sexuality or their sexual orientation. And there were some beautiful, I think, sex scenes as well, where I'm like, oh wow, they're exploring themselves, they're curious about themselves, and they're not. Again, not judging it, not being shameful about it. So I think Noah's Ark is a good one as well.
You know what I think is maybe a little underrated in this regard, even though if you ask any cinephile, they'll put it in their top 10 movies of whatever, the last century, whatever it is. Do you ever see Portrait of a Lady on Fire?
I have not, but I want to.
Okay, well, it has the vibe of movies like The Piano or something, where it's a lot about being near a gray beach and and like lingering desires and like what's going through. It's just like that. These things we kind of associate with foreign films. Like there's like difficult, like there's a mist between us all.
Sure.
And,
Yes.
And what is love, etc. It is so fucking good. The acting is what makes it so important. I think both of these actresses are just, if you will, on fire in this movie, and where it ends up is obviously devastating. But by the end, I think what makes it an important sexually liberating movie for me is that both of them by the end. I think that's like the ultimate goal of like why we are obsessed with this world. It's like, I want to get to know these people.
Yes.
It's like important. It makes them feel like complete people once we understand what makes them tick in this way. And that's what makes it so devastating. Is like, oh my God, it's not just that this happened to a character, it's happened to this person whom I have a whole catalog of information about, and there's a composite that feels like an entire person to me.
Yes. I love that. Lived in.
Yes.
You feel reflected.
Very
in that.
rewatchable too, even though you will leave in shambles. So
I'm gonna have to watch that one along with Bill, Alice, Ted.
Almost. Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
Thank you.
Yes.
Also, Sex Education.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's a great one.
We just had Gillian Anderson here.
Oh,
yes.
amazing. And that's another great one where obviously, and there's something about adolescence, because obviously that's where it begins, this exploration. So those shows that I think normalize that adolescents are allowed to talk about sex, I think is always helpful and liberating and exciting.
And allowed to know themselves. You know what I mean? Like they're like little adults in a way,
Yeah. The youth.
Yeah. I always stand the Wonder Years. I think that's the greatest show about adolescents of all time.
Did you watch the new one? I didn't watch the new one.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
And I heard it was great. So
great, yeah.
Yeah. But I, of course, already watched the first one. So do
you're
I
like,
need to
I'm
see it
good.
again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I want to bring up regarding the late Diane Keaton. There's a movie from the late 70s called Looking for Mr. Goodbar, where it's actually a pretty polarizing movie. And at the very last scene of it, which is gruesome and sort of horror tinged, is a shame-based ending. I would say that they should regret the ending of this movie.
Sure.
And it's based off a really popular book too. But in the movie, it's basically just about a woman living her life. Like she's a teacher, and then at night happens to go out, happens to have sex. And the casual nature of it, I thought was pretty fucking fabulous when I watched this movie. And it's like, there's something particularly good about it being Diane Keaton, because there's an aw shucks quality about Diane Keaton in most movies, even in the Godfather movies, weirdly. But in this movie, she still got to have that quality of like unassumingness while being proactive about seeking out a sexually fulfilling life. And it's just like, that really felt novel to me, because I feel like most characters in movies and TV who actually have the balls, the guts to go and have sex or like have a lot of sex or whatever, have a particular vibe. They just are like, and I'm aggro, I'm alpha, whatever. But she wasn't. It was a casual part of her life. And to see that was fucking cool.
I love that call out that we oftentimes think that the person who's sexually liberated has to be, for lack of a better term, like aggressive with it, as opposed to like anybody can be, like your grandma could be sexually liberated.
Right.
Like, and there can be a casualness, and I think that it'll be great when we accept that there should be a casualness about it, that it should be part of our everyday conversation, that everybody should have access to fucking how they want, Chewing gum is another one that I love because I think it tackles the religious trauma, but also her exploring her own sexuality. She's so horny. Michaela Cole playing Tracy. I forget Tracy's last name. But
what are we doing with Michaela Cole right now?
I think
come back to us.
Come back. I think that she likes to go away for a little bit, and then she's going to come back with something brilliant. I think it's all on her timeline.
Okay, good.
Which I respect, but she is quite the brilliant.
We call that Phoebe Waller-Bridgering. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She'll be back when she wants to
She'll be back when she wants to be back, and I respect that, because when they come back with some solid shit. So.
Have you had any particularly fabulous conversations about these topics on your podcast recently? Who have been your favorite guests?
Oh my goodness. Well, one of my standout guests is Emily Nagoski, who is a consultant on Dying for Sex. She wrote the book Come As You Are. She's an educator and professor around this stuff. And so she was the one who said, like, you shouldn't be ashamed of the sexual being that you are. And that was a really important piece of advice, that you should be able to embrace who you are as a sexual being, because I think that that's where a lot of our trauma comes from. And then recently I had Nina Parker on.
You sure did.
I did have Nina Parker on, and that was a good time. We were having a little auntie kiki, talking about ghosting and also like, how do you handle when a friend is in a relationship that you don't agree with, and can you say something about it? And so we kind of, I think on the show we do have a range of the topics from relationship, sex, and identity. And there've been a lot of, Lena Waithe has been on the show. We talked about whether or not we don't want to be parents, we want to be childless, and talking about the difference between being a parent versus wanting to have a child. And those are two very different things.
Yeah, because my thing is I don't want a dog or a child, but I do want to name them.
Yes,
That's it.
you need a Tamagotchi.
Yes,
back in the day. Yes.
See, but like if like the idea of having a dog that I call Vanessa Redgrave because I want to have an actress named dog sounds so fun. But then the taking care of it.
It's different because it needs
So
to live.
dumb.
It's very different.
Hate it.
It's so stupid. I have a dog. It's so every morning I'm like, this is so stupid, but I love him.
Also, you had Katya on for a fabulous conversation about how she works out at the gym with the dildo in her ass.
With her butt plug.
Excuse me, and then it like fell out one time, like prop comedy. Like
It
gay
was unbelievable.
carrot top shit.
Yes, her butt plug falling out in front of her assistant and her being like, "Look what!" and grabbing it. Incredible, wild.
I don't know if I've ever said this in the show. Trixie and Katya, all their work, they are so astoundingly funny. Like those two and Willem are the funniest people who've ever been on the show.
We had Willem on the show. Willem told us about
Willem is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
He's like Willem's like a stand-up.
Absolutely.
Willem could give this all up, all the makeup, whatever, and just do stand-up.
And kill it. Yeah. She told a story about somebody putting a big toe in her and her thinking it was a dick and then being like, oh, it's a big toe, that's okay. And then I just had Trixie. That episode will come out next week, but finally I got to chat with Trixie. And with all of the drag queens are not, I wouldn't say intimidating for me to interview, but like I'm just in awe and I forget that I'm interviewing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, give me your bits. Give me talk to me.
Also, Trixie's done a couple bits over at Kimmel with us, and I've covered those bits, and I just forget. Amazing talker, period. Not everybody can like talk well anymore.
Oh my God.
I live in Los Angeles where it's sort of, you can just stand in a room and look at nothing.
Literally.
You know?
And be in your corner and whatever. Trixie walked into the door and started talking immediately. We were like, turn the mics on.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have like official action. She was just talking and offering, and everything was, talking is one thing, but like talking and being funny.
Yeah.
Girl.
And also, but not monologuing either. Like
At all.
listening
Like,
and responding. It was really like fluid and rad.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
Oh my God.
Brilliant.
I'm so glad they're that amazing.
Yes,
they really are.
Jealous.
Okay, what are your favorite sexually liberated TV, movies, music videos? I could have gone just
D'Angelo music video.
Oh my God. May he rest.
May he rest. Them cum gutters.
How does it feel? Good. I'm horny.
Baby, let me lick you up. We realized that
Madonna,
video.
express yourself. Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
good. D'Angelo, that video is just him with a black background, like just rotating in a circle, and we were all like, "Yes, play it over and over and over."
I
again.
want to know who pitched it. Was he like? He's like, get this, guys. I'm so hot. What if I stood here?
What if I just stood here?
Yeah.
And touched myself?
Yeah.
Yes. Good idea.
Yes, let's do that. It'll play on VH1 for 100 years.
There's a producer going, "That's a good budget." Yeah. That's
Yeah, right.
budget,
And it costs 10 cents. Yeah. Please, I'd be thrilled to hear about that. We'll be right back with Keep It. This podcast is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid, all in one place. From consultations to events and experiences, showcase your offerings with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business. Get paid on time with professional on-brand invoices and online payments. Plus, streamline your workflow with built-in appointment scheduling and email marketing tools. With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, anyone can build bespoke online presences that perfectly fit their brand or business. Start with Blueprint AI, Squarespace's AI-enhanced website builder, to get a fully custom website in just a few steps, using basic information about your industry, goals, and personality to generate premium quality content and personalized design recommendations. Squarespace also offers a complete library of professionally designed and award-winning website templates with options for every use and category. No matter where you start, your website is flexible to what you need, with intuitive drag-and-drop editing, beautiful styling options, unrivaled visual design effects, on-brand AI content, and more ways to list what you offer. No experience required. Squarespace makes it easy to showcase your expertise and engage clients with video content on your website. Upload and organize your videos, create stunning video libraries, and even monetize your content by adding a paywall. Perfect for online courses, exclusive tutorials, and premium workshops. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/keepit to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/keepit. Keep It is brought to you by Koyuchi. I'm excited to tell you about our sponsor, Koyuchi. Koyuchi is in a league of its own when it comes to bedding, bath, and home products, and their organic sateen and flannel sheet sets are the key to more comfortable, healthier sleep year-round. Now, if you're not watching this on video right now, you can't see me clutch myself like I'm in Koyuchi sheets, but you have to know that they feel so lovely. They're so right on your skin. Often I get expensive sheets and think, this is what my skin wants, and it's not. The material in Koyuchi is exactly right for somebody who sleeps warm like I do, who sleeps on their side like I do, who just wants a good night's sleep. Invest in your health and the best sleep of your life. All Koyuchi sheets are made of natural fibers and certified to be free of toxins and harmful chemicals that can seep into your skin, and they're soft and so gentle on your skin. You can sleep well and safely with Koyuchi. Koyuchi is luxury you can feel good about. Whether it's bedding or bath towels, table linens, crib sheets, or spa robes, all of Koyuchi's products are of the absolute highest quality, made with natural fibers, low-impact dyes, and certified fair trade. Koyuchi looks great, feels amazing, and is good for your health and the planet. If you want healthy, organic luxury bedding that lasts a lifetime, you need Koyuchi. Get 15% off your first order when you visit koyuchi.com/keepit. That's koyuchi.com/keepit to get 15% off. koyuchi.com/keepit. And we're back with the snarkiest part of the episode. It's Keep It. All right, hit me. What are you pissed off about? What are you railing against?
Well, we've been talking about the sexual liberation, and so I'm going to kind of keep it in that world, which is, I was thinking about One Battle After Another and Tiana Taylor and everyone talking about this character being too hypersexual. Right. And then, so to this, I'm going to read the quote because she had a Vanity Fair article that just came out where she responds to it. And she said, another person interviewed me and mentioned something about, do you realize the first thing we see of Perfidia is her having a gun to a guy's head and he calls her sweet thing? Are we watching the same film? And this idea of the overly horniness, and I think it's actually a lazy critique of it. And so I want to defend Tiana a little bit on this, which is that.
And by the way, I hope she wins that Oscar.
I do too.
She is the supporting performance of the year.
She's brilliant. And I think that to reduce her performance to just being hypersexual is really code for, here's a woman, particularly a black woman, who's owning her sexuality and who can use her sexuality. And I think whenever we see a woman who knows that she wants to fuck, we start to get scared and we want to police it. And I don't think it's just men that do it. I think it's all of us do this because we're uncomfortable by people who don't need your permission to want to fuck. And also it reduces the character because I was like going into the movie being like, oh, is it just going to be her fucking? And it's like, no, she's fucking, she's blowing shit up. She becomes a mom. She has postpartum. She's like, there's
she's in major trouble and has to figure her way out of it.
The character is so complicated. And so I think the reduction of it is actually, again, lazy and is an opportunity for us to look at our own relationship to our sexuality. Because that's what I'm actually hearing, is that we are afraid of how embodied Tiana is and Perfidia is. And Tiana, by the way, is very sexy. But I think that in her own career, she owns it. But also if you look at her career, she's played a range of things. We have 1001, All's Fair,
yes.
Straw.
Talk about range.
Straw?
Talk about range.
Straw, that bouncy wig love. So like to reduce her to like, oh, she's only ever sexual is like, that's not fair. And I think this is actually a chance for us to look at ourselves and be like, hey, why am I so triggered by somebody else's horniness? And hypersexual implies that, well, actually, I have a definition of hypersexual, right? It's a proposed medical condition that's said to cause unwanted or excessive sexual arousing, causing people to engage in or think about sexual activity to a point of distress or impairment. Which is not what's happening with Perfidia, right? And that it's acting like she's fucking on a playground in front of some kids. It's like, that's not what's happening. Yes. She's fucking, near a bomb.
She's fucking Leo when she has the time.
When she has the time. And so, so I think that, and the comparison to Halle Berry around it, it's like, if we want to have a larger conversation about black actresses only being awarded for being sexy, sassy, or The Help, I'm happy to have that conversation. But that is a Hollywood conversation. That's not a conversation, I think, for the actor or for the character. I think actually One Battle After Another has a lot of different representation of black womanhood in that movie. From Regina Hall to Chase Infinity to The Nuns, like it's not, but because Tiana is getting the accolades, I think we're now hyper focused on that and wanting to call her hypersexual, and I think it's bullshit.
I did want more of The Nuns. I have to say.
I wanted more of The Nuns, too.
I thought we were going to get it, too.
Yeah.
But of course, I wanted more of Tiana, too.
Yes, absolutely. I thought Tiana was going to be in more of the movie, which I would love. But also, like, Judi Dench was in 8 minutes of Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so no, you don't have to educate me, please. No, Beatrice Straight, we could go on and on.
Come on, so give Tiana all her things.
Yeah.
I really hope.
Watch Jo Van Fleet in East of Eden. She's in it for like 6 seconds. And she's like, I'm really mad at you, James Dean. And we gave her the Oscar. Guys.
Come on.
Yeah.
So give Tiana her fucking things for the culture, period.
There's a lot of critiques about whether the movie is making fun of revolutionaries or activists. But honestly, I kind of thought Paul Thomas Anderson made them activists because he just wanted to pick a job where if you fuck up at it, it could be on your family to have to pick up the slack. Like, I don't think it's really about the ins and outs of being a revolutionary or an activist.
I don't think it is. I mean, I feel like this is another critique, which I think like the movie feels like it can come off as a message movie, but I'm not really sure what the message is.
No, it was just entertaining, honestly.
That's it. It was just entertaining.
It's sort of my, I don't want to say problem with Marty Supreme too, but it kind of feels like it's going to about something like, ego or whatever, but it's like, it's really just an entertaining movie, it's just a thriller kind of, a
little suspense. Yeah, it's about the action. It's about the things blowing up, but it's not, I don't think you're supposed to like leave it and be like, oh, I'm gonna be a revolutionary now.
No, right. Yeah. It's not like substantive in that way.
This is not the movie that's going to do that to you.
Yes. My Keep It is about another awards darling, whom I think we can fairly, like, we've loved her in everything. Amanda Seyfried.
Love her.
Gave a quote about Oscar season and whether or not she is excited to win an Oscar.
Okay.
Amanda Seyfried said that winning an Oscar is not important to her. She said, do you remember who's won in the past 10 years? It's not the win that's important. It's the nomination. It does thrust you forward. That's a fact. Now, do I need one in a week or two or whatever? No, of course I don't. Would it be great? Of course it would, for every reason, but it isn't necessary. First of all I remember is who won in the past 10 years. I could basically rattle it off like a rap. Okay.
I remember no nominees left.
Yes. She has to understand at this point that there are people like me lingering around, and this is all we live for.
Yes.
So don't minimize what I do with my spare time, which is memorize your name because you were nominated for an Oscar.
1000%.
That said, she was nominated for the movie Mank, and I don't think anybody remembers that. So I don't think the nomination is necessarily always that important.
There you go.
I also just want to talk in general about, can we decide what level of standing we're going to do for Amanda Seyfried? Because she's really good in this movie, The Housemaid, directed by Paul Feig with Sydney Sweeney. Sort of a traditional thriller. It reminds me maybe of the movie Obsessed with Beyonce.
Oh, how dare you bring that up? You know I love that movie.
I'm going to say, Allie Larder, we speak your name.
Yes.
And of course, she's also in The Testament of Ann Lee right now, which I feel like isn't getting enough buzz as an awards contender. There's like Amanda's sort of lingering in the 5th, 6th spot for Best Actress potential. And I feel like a problem here is, like Rose Byrne, we can't just agree we are obsessed with her, even though she's a constantly working actor. It's a little bit like Michelle Williams. She gets to be in everything, but does she have a ton of fans? And I can't explain really why.
I overstand this, though. Yes, I know what you're saying. Like, we know who they are, but, like, is there a fandom around them?
Right. No, but I'm just like Cate Blanchett, for example. Like, I think we're all, like, gung-ho. Like, that, like, let the lesbian lady conductor beat everybody with a baton. Like, we love it.
We love that. We want that.
Whereas Amanda Seyfried, I think maybe the problem is she's kind of good at everything. Like, she can do, like, a light comic role, a horror movie, a drama, and because of that, we don't, like Julianne Moore, we don't have a sense really of the person as much.
She's too good at her job.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. It's easy to admire her skills while maybe not like loving the mechanism she brings or something. I don't know.
Ah, that's interesting.
It's like everybody likes her in all these movies, and that's it.
And that's it. They're not trying to give her the award. They're not trying to stand her. I mean, she will forever be Mean Girls for me. I mean, I know her other things. But for the range she has that you're calling out is actually quite obvious now that you're saying it, and it's incredible.
Yeah, and also it's like people love Megan Fox and Jennifer's Body, but she's a huge reason that's a cult hit. You know, like the way she plays the character literally named Needy, you know. No, I'm a big fan of her in general, and I think more people should see The Testament of Ann Lee. So
I'm going to see this.
Yeah. Written by Mona Fastvold and Brady Corbet, who last year had the triumph with The Brutalist, and then this year we're sort of like, oh, you already had a triumph or something. We don't care anymore.
What's your favorite movie of the season?
Honestly, my favorite movie that I've rewatched a few times this year is It's Never Over Jeff Buckley, the new documentary about Jeff Buckley.
Oh.
I can't even say I'm a huge fan of his music, but he's a truly mystifying and difficult and strange person.
Yeah.
So it's like a traditional music documentary, but it gets to be fascinating because he truly is fascinating. But otherwise, I think Marty Supreme might be my favorite movie.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's like a banner year for the Oscars movies, honestly.
There's not a lot of, there haven't been I've watched a few, not all of them. I'm more of a TV girly. I haven't seen Marty Supreme, and the only reason is because it's in the theater.
Yeah.
And last time I was in the theater was for Wicked, and Renaissance. That's it. Otherwise, I'm waiting to watch it on my couch. But I did love Sinners.
Sinners was great.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm excited about I watched it early in the morning because I don't like scary things, as I said. I only like if you're going to cut me open and save my life. But I did watch it at 8 a.m. on like a Tuesday morning on my couch, and I really loved it. So
I do think that movie on purpose is 3 different genres, and I think I liked certain genres better than others, but I love the experimentation, and I love the look of it. I love also like Michael B. Jordan still doesn't have an Oscar nomination. What are we waiting for?
He's so pretty.
Fruitvale Station alone. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. He's so and talented.
There isn't a pretty category, unfortunately. Maybe soon.
Maybe soon.
You know what? If the Oscars knows what's good for them, maybe they should have a pretty category.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
We would all tune in for that.
Yeah,
the pretty
please.
category.
Now, where can we find you if we want to seek you out in the world on Instagram, etc.?
If you on Instagram, Brandon Kyle Goodman, on Substack, BrandonKyleGoodman.substack.com, or my podcast, Tell Me Something Messy.
It has been so fucking awesome to have you here.
I have loved talking to you, Luru.
Oh my God.
My Luru.
Welcome to the Lurusical.
Yes, there we go.
Playing all the hits. And that's our episode this week. Thank you to Bill Skarsgård for joining us. We'll be back next week after the Oscar nominations. We'll see you then.